Game of Thrones, everything we know about Season 7. Game of Thrones may have just wrapped up its 6th season, but it's never too early to look ahead at what's next. Details are already beginning to surface, both from the showrunners and various leaks of information, giving us a solid picture of what the final seasons of the HBO series will look like. Season 6 closed out with a collection of story threads in precarious places. Daenerys is sailing to Westeros, Jon is the new king in the north, Cersei now sits on the Iron Throne, and the White Walkers are poised for an invasion of their own. What's going to happen once Season 7 kicks off next year? We have a pretty good idea, at least on a tertiary level, so let's jump in and break it all down, shall we? Number 1. Winter will delay Season 7's premiere date. Typically, Game of Thrones premieres in April of each year. 2017 will buck this trend, thanks to one simple fact: winter is here. Said showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, "We're starting a bit later because at the end of this season, winter is here, and that means that sunny weather doesn't really serve our purposes anymore." Basically, sunny shooting locations like Dubrovnik, Croatia will need more cloud cover to properly portray a Westeros winter, leading to a later, less summer-y start date for production. Sorry fans, you'll have to wait a bit longer than usual to find out what happens. Number 2. We'll be getting a much shorter season next year. Breaking from tradition seems to be a developing trend for Game of Thrones. Season 6 was the first time the show has ever outstripped the source novels. Season 7 will debut later in the year than any other. The icing on the cake, the new season will only run 7 episodes long. The plan from HBO right now is to drag this out as long as possible, albeit with a compromise in place with the showrunners. Benioff and Weiss both have no intention of dragging Game of Thrones out past its expiration date, making 2 more 10-episode seasons more than a little excessive. The middle ground they seem to have arrived at with the network is for 13 more episodes divided over 2 seasons. As of now, it looks like Season 7 will run for 7 episodes, wrapping up with 6 final installments a year later. Number 3. What happens when it's all over? Hollywood is nothing if not insistent on keeping popular franchises alive indefinitely. So what's the plan for HBO when their cash cow wraps up in 2 years? The showrunners have indicated that they want Game of Thrones to wrap up after Season 8, and it wouldn't make much sense continuing on without them. That does leave one option open though, a prequel series. George R.R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire universe is expansive, and the time period we've seen is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of that story. This makes a prequel series a huge possibility for HBO, whose own programming has struggled outside of Game of Thrones lately. Number 4. Who's coming back in Season 7? When it comes to figuring out the cast for each season, we're helped by news of each actor's contract with the network. As of now, Emilia Clarke, Daenerys, Kit Harington, Jon Snow, Nicolaj Coster-Waldau, Jaime Lannister, Peter Dinklage, Tyrion Lannister, and Lena Headey, Cersei, are signed on for Season 7. It should probably come as little surprise, since we saw each of those characters alive in the Season 6 finale, but it's worth noting nonetheless. Each actor also has a contract option for Season 8, leaving the door open for an untimely character death. Number 5. Lady Stoneheart. Warning, massive spoilers for anyone who hasn't read the books. There are plenty of differences between George R.R. Martin's novels and HBO's Game of Thrones TV series. Still, the one that's really had book readers in a frenzy has involved the character of Lady Stoneheart. In the books, Catelyn Stark is brought back from the dead by Beric Dondarrion, and subsequently goes on a revenge tour of Westeros alongside the Brotherhood without banners. Still bearing the scars of her death and pale, almost brittle skin, she mercilessly kills anyone even remotely associated with the Lannisters, Boldens, and Freys. At one point, she even hangs Brienne and Podrick, accusing them of betraying her by associating with Jaime Lannister. As of now, there are no plans to bring Lady Stoneheart into the fold, despite her rich story in the books. Director Mark Mylod attests to as much, claiming, "I can honestly say, hand over heart, that I have not had one discussion about Lady Stoneheart. That certainly doesn't rule her out sometime later on down the line, but for the time being, it looks like faceless Arya will be the go-to vessel for Stark-related vengeance."